How to transfer my SSH keys to another machine? I have accounts on two machines, H1 and H2. I created SSH keys on H1 and installed it on S1. I can now SSH to S1 from H1. I want to do the same from H2. How do I install the SSH keys generated on H1 on H2?
Edited. If you own both machines, you may share your private key. But this solution is not safe for case of stolen notebook or for machines you don't own. You may copy your private keys from H1 to H2, if you want to use the same private key to be able to log in from H2 to S1. When you are at H1, do these commands. Warning! This will delete and replace any private key you had at H2. Better way is to generate new private keys on H2, SSH keygen, and install their public part on S1 with SSH copy ID util. In this safer case you will have two sets of keys, one is for H1 S1 login and second for H2 S1 login. There will be two public keys authorized at S1. And you will be able to revoke any of them or both, for example, when your notebook is stolen, or owner of the machine decides to disable your account and reuse all your files.
Use SSH copy it. Synopsis. SSH copy it, identity_file, user at machine. Description. SSH copy it is a script that uses SSH to log into a remote machine and append the indicated identity file to that machine /.sh/authorized_keys file.
Use two private keys. Set up H2 using the same process, but not the same private key, as you did when you set up H1. There is never a good reason to copy a private key from some other machine. If you haven't already generated a fresh private key on H2, do so now. Also generate the corresponding public key. In a terminal on H2, type SSH keygen TRSA. Copy your H2's public key to the server. In a terminal on H2, type SSH copy it username at s1.net. But use your actual username on S1 and S1's hostname, and later type in your password on S1 when it asks for it. This installs the public key of your workstation into the /.sh/authorized_keys file for that user on the server. There is no step 3. From now on, you can log into the S1 from your H2, and also log into the S1 from your H1. Details. I assume that what you are really asking is, I have a server, S1. I log into my server from my personal laptop, H1. I also want to log into my server from my workstation, H2. What is the right way to do that? I suppose I could simply log in with the same password from both places. That can't be the right way, because everyone says that public key authentication is much better than passwords. I suppose I could simply copy the private key from my laptop to my workstation. That can't be the right way, because everyone says that the private key is never supposed to leave the client machine. People have it hammered into their head that one account on a server has a single username and, of course, a single authorized password. Public key systems like SSH are better than the password system. One account on a server has a single username and any number of authorized public keys, all of them listed in the /authorized_keys, file. More details.
All the answers here address the issue of copying identity from one server to another server by making use of SSH copy ID, which is not the point of the question. The problem that the questions seem to ask is how to make use of the same private-public key pair generated and used on a personal computer, H1, can be used on another personal machine, H2, so as not to have to set up a new private-public key and manually add it to each server that we use to connect to. This is not advisable for security reasons as extensively mentioned by others, however, it is possible to achieve with the following steps. Copy your private, for example, //.ssh/it_RSA, and public, for example, //.ssh/it_RSA.pub, from your H1 machine to your H2 machine in location, //.ssh. Do this only through a trusted USB that you will format afterwards. Do not use emails or any other internet-based medium. When you will execute the following command in H2, lsalt.ssh, the output will contain at least the following. On H2, change the permission of the private key to be less accessible, otherwise next step will fail, with the command, trod600.ssh/it_RSA, so that the output of the following command, lsalt.ssh, will contain the following. Notice the difference from the above permission. Final step. On H2, now use the command, sshad.ssh/it_RSA, to enable the private-public key pair to be used to identify yourself from H2 to any server that you will connect to by using the private-public key that you imported. Now, any SSH or SCP command such as, SSH your username and IP address, should succeed as if you were logged into H1. Security considerations. Please consider other suggestions for better security, aka generate a new private-public key pair. The only case in which I see this to be useful is when moving onto a new machine for good so that H2 will become your primary computer and H1 will not be used anymore. If you are using both H1 and H2 still, there is no plausible good reason to use the same private-public key pair from H2.